Direct message from a woman in Minnesota who told me that her father was in prison in Mozambique, Africa, and that she was absolutely sure he was not guilty.
Look at me. Don't look at him. Look at me. I am your captain now. Yes, I am reacting to a story of this man kidnapping an American veteran, 70 years old, and had held him captive in Africa.
It was started with a DM, a direct message from a woman in Minnesota who told me that her father was in prison in Mozambique, Africa.
This is what I do.
Sure, he was not guilty, and it started a huge investigation into Mozambique. Used to be Portuguese; they speak Portuguese. I have friends that live in Mozambique, so immediately it piqued my curiosity. Why is an older American guy stuck in prison, and his daughter is desperate enough to contact me because she wants to try to figure out how to free her dad? And so we started investigation. Turns out this guy was scammed, terrible scam. He was told he was a retired truck driver, former military. He was told that he had gotten, his wife had just died. He was told he had gotten an inheritance and that the inheritance was in Europe. His wife had connections to families in Europe, so it was totally believable according to him. But in order to get the inheritance, he would have to do a pit stop in Africa. But they would pay for everything, his flights, his hotels, everything. So it was a free ride to go to Africa, pick up the documents, and then take them to Europe. And in the bag with the documents were some chocolates that he was to take to Europe to the people he was meeting. And as he's in the airport about to board his flight to Europe, he was stopped by the authorities, and he was carrying 5 kilos of heroin inside these chocolates that he was completely unaware. And I completely believe he had no idea. So he's sent to prison, given...
Hey, I need you to drop off. Go, Greg. You got this inheritance in Europe, but come to Africa first. Come to Africa first. Pick up the documents. You get to pick up the documents, and they say, "Here go the documents, but also deliver these chocolate bars. Don't you can't eat no chocolate bars. I don't give a fuck if you hungry or not, nigga. Don't eat none of them chocolates. Deliver these chocolate bars while you at it though." And you just like, all right, fuck it. They need chocolate. Nah, bro. Nah, you guilty.
One-day trial. 17-year sentence. He's almost 70 years old, so he's probably going to die in prison. And it turns out he wasn't the only American there. There was another American from California and a Canadian, all victims of the same scam, and within 2-3 days, all three of them. And this is just one high-security prison in Mozambique out of all prisons around the world. So we went, we visited him, we saw him, we brought his daughter to see him. She hadn't seen him in 4 years. Super emotional. And then we went to South Africa. We basically investigated the trail of money and who had paid for what, the hotel, the flights, everything. And we came face to face with one of his scammers. We filmed undercover in a hotel in South Africa where I basically confronted this guy who scammed him. I pretended that I was a friend and I was looking for that inheritance as well, and that I had, that I was willing to travel and do whatever for that money. I pretended I was what they call a MAGA, which is a dumb, gullible American. They call them MAGAs.
Like Make America Great Again? MAGA?
Yeah, it's interestingly the same name, but I don't think it comes from that. It's a Nigerian saying for a gullible person. I don't think it's new.
So
no.
It predates MAGA?
I think so.
Wow.
It's interestingly the same. Yeah, that's the first thing I thought when I saw it as well, when they said it to me. But I pretended I was a MAGA, and then came face to face with this guy. It's crazy.
What if Donald Trump is using MAGA as a double entendre? It's Make America Great Again for the votes, but he chose Make America Great Again MAGA to mean I am going to inherit and pull votes in from the dumb Americans, aka the MAGAs. That'd be crazy.
What was that like?
It was interesting because at first we sat down and I was saying that, the Rodney Baldas, which is this man's name, the Rodney Baldas name, and you have his inheritance. And I said, I think it's $2.7 million. And is that money still available? And he was like, actually, it's 2.4, 2.5. I was like, okay. So he's corroborating what I'm saying. I was like, okay. So I started talking with him a little bit more, but then he got a little suspicious. And he was asking to see my ID. He said, okay, great, but in order to be able to continue talking to you, I have to see your ID. I couldn't show him my ID because I hadn't given him my real name, obviously. So at that point, I decided to leave, pretend I was going to my room to get my ID, and then I came back and decided to confront him and tell him, look, I'm a journalist. I'd really like to talk to you on camera. And he was like, pretended that he had no idea what I was talking about, that he didn't know that he had called me Zoe, and then he was like, no, I'm here to meet what's her name, Catherine. I was like, wait, aren't you Mr. Wilson, the man that I just spoke to? And he was like, oh, no, I'm not Mr. Wilson, my name is Robert, or whatever. I was like, dude, I have you on camera, I'm filming. He was like, you're doing what? I'm filming. I filmed this whole interaction. And then he stands up and left, and it was a whole thing because he's part of this bigger group that is a criminal group, and kind of scary and dangerous. But we presented this. We reached out to the State Department to see if they could investigate, because they have done very little for Rodney. And if they could investigate his case, and crickets. Like, they don't.
Nothing.
They did refuse to talk to us. They say they're doing that what they can to help him, but he's in completely substandard conditions in this prison with no real access to good health care, and the guy's gonna die in prison.
And there's no way to get him out?
That's what we're trying. I hope that when this doc is aired, it's not on Hulu yet. It will be on Hulu and it will be on Nat Geo soon. But when it airs, that the government will take another look and try to do something for this guy. He's like former military guy. He's like, it's so obvious that he's innocent, and they're not even trying. Like, that's what upset us, is that there isn't real help there in getting him his medication. Like, his food has to be brought from the outside, because they don't give him actual food in prison. So his daughter has to send money via me to a friend of mine who lives in Mozambique. So it's this whole bank exchange in order to provide food for
They
this
don't give
guy
you
in
food
prison.
in prison?
They give you like a really bad porridge once a day or something like that. Not something that's any good for your health. And he has diabetes and has a bunch of other. So they hire this woman to cook food and bring him to prison every day.
What a way
It's-
to end your life.
It's so crazy, right?
Scammed like that.
Yeah,
Just
and-
used as a drug mule.
And abandoned by your government.
Yeah.
Like, no one's doing anything. At least that's my...
I feel bad for him, right? But at the same time, is he abandoned by his government when he decided to leave his government to try to chase the money? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want your government to now intertwine its way into someone else's government and basically control them and say, hey, I know you deem him guilty, but he's one of ours, so let him through no matter what your law says, then it kind of becomes this, as we would call it, a little bro situation where America is coming to their home, not taking off their shoes and then stepping on their couch. At what point do the other countries say, whoa, 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 is this my country or is this your country? Because over here in my country, we said he's guilty. Now, I hear what you're saying, but sometimes when we plead our case as telling them what to do, it's not heard the same. Okay, if you would have pushed to this with this case of he was scammed, which is kind of hard to believe once you break down just the simple facts of, okay, you go all the way over here just to pick up documents and then to go back to Europe to give them the documents to get the inheritance. You have 5, I think they said pounds or kilos of heroin on you. You didn't think like, well, there's a lot of chocolate. That's where I'm getting at, bro. I feel like maybe it's a little bit farther than what we think it is.
Yeah, it's and realizing that this is actually big and is happening all around.
How do you maintain your faith in humanity?
I do.
I know you do. You're a very friendly, nice, smiling person,
I'm very, very optimistic. Very optimistic
which is
about the world.
crazy considering what you've seen.
But it's not, because when you're able to sit down with a cartel member, or a scammer in the Philippines, or all these people that I meet around the world, and I'm able to find humanity in them, I'm able to find commonalities between me and him. I'm able to see that if this person, in the majority of cases, was given other opportunities, that he wouldn't be the person he turned out to be. That shows me that it's not entirely humanity that's broken, it's the system.
Yeah.
It's the systems that human beings, have created. But the accountability at the end of the day lies in the people of power, the people that are able to make a difference in that system, and not in the drug dealers or the coyotes, smugglers, or the
Yeah.
scammers, you know?
It's amazing that you can maintain that perspective, and that just really is an amazing testament to your character, that you're able to see that for what it is and not lose faith in people.
Yeah.
Because you are confronted constantly with these scenarios, but that is the one thing they have in common is desperate people.
Absolutely. It's always the most vulnerable people. And nobody is born wanting to be a criminal, right? You are put in that position, and that's what I see again and again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, Mariana, what you do is amazing. I'm stunned by your courage. You're one of the real last boots on the ground journalists who goes into terrifying places and consistently exposes these incredibly fascinating, horrific scenes. And if it wasn't for you, a lot of people wouldn't know about a lot of these things. So thank you. Thank you for everything you do.
Oh, thank you so much for having.
Listen here. I am the captain now, and I say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for comment, and subscribing. I am the captain now, and I need you to comment, and subscribe. All right.